What is going on, guys? Johnny and Will here from HXC Wrestling Talk Show, back with another episode of The Weigh-In. Now, we've been away for a little bit, so we haven't been able to go over everything that's happened in the past week, and also this week as well, so we're going to kind of touch on everything. First thing I want to start off with is AEW and WWE. A growing feud that I feel like is starting to really deserve some type of debate on, or like a topic on or something, because, you know, with AEW, when they came out and everything, we knew that they were going to try to go after WWE and their fan base in particular, but to me, I feel like they're just doing it too much at this point.
It's getting, in my opinion, it's getting childish. It's like they're taking cheap shots at WWE. It's not professional.
Yeah.
To say the least, it's not. I mean, people can say you can debate with me if you want to, but it's not professional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. You're trying to take superstars away from where they originated, and move it into your stuff, and then take what they did in WWE, and then take it with them to there to do for your brand, to better your brand and stuff. And that's not the way you do things.
Well, the biggest thing that's now kind of up in the air is Randy Orton. Randy Orton debating on going to AEW. And this is a thing that, like, everyone needs to understand about if Randy Orton does leave and go to AEW. That's one of the biggest wins AEW could get, because for quite frankly, WWE's had Randy Orton since, 2003, 2002?
Yeah.
I mean, the only promotion that Randy Orton was in was OVW.
And it's like, I mean, I know some of the superstars that AEW's took over and had transferred to there, but the thing is about it and stuff, it's like they're aiming at the highest ranked superstars, because now of all people, they're going to fuck with the Viper.
Yeah.
And a part of, like, excuse my language, but I've been a huge fan of, Undertaker, and the list goes on and on. But my main person and stuff that I always loved watching fight was Randy Orton, because of who he was and how he played. I mean, he was one of the baddest. I mean, you never knew he could hit the RKO out of nowhere. Yeah. And he could pull it off, like back at WrestleMania when he done it, when Seth went up to do the curb stomp, and he threw him off his shoulder and caught him into the... I mean, that's what I'm saying. The man, if anybody picks that man up, and AEW knows this.
Well, see, this is the thing, though. Like, people really need to understand. I mean, we either go to promotions. If you swap from AEW, you go to Impact, you go to WWE, wherever you go, those characters are going to stay with WWE. The people are going to go, absolutely, but then they're going to have to make a whole new gimmick or a whole new persona based on who they wore in WWE, because they're not going to be able to carry over the Viper.
And it's not
Y2J, Chris Jericho. They're not going to be able to carry that over.
And the thing is about it, you can take it like this right here. They could take Randy Orton, he's the Viper.
Yeah.
They take him to AEW, and
he could be something else.
He could be the corn snake.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. And it could be, they could either better him, or they can make him worse, or make him horrible. And I've seen it happen. Like a lot of the superstars that would go to Impact and stuff, I mean, they had the talent, but they won't using it right. And if you don't, you can grab all the high talent you want to, but if you do not know how to use it, you're not going to get anywhere. It's just going to make you look even more dumb than when you tried it the first time.
Well, see, the thing about, with Impact, when I remember really fondly of, Mr. Kenny being in WWE, going and leaving Impact Wrestling, being Mr. Anderson, carrying the certain type of gimmick, but he couldn't carry that name over.
The full
gimmick. What I mean? He couldn't carry that whole name over.
I mean, he still did the little,
the microphone and everything, but it wasn't the same as it was in World Wrestling Entertainment, because they own the rights to those characters. I mean, that's the biggest thing. When you read into the writing of, like, before pay-per-views air and stuff like that, they even have a disclaimer for you not to use any of those characters for the names of your own personal, non-authorization of it, because they own the rights to those characters. They own the rights to those gimmicks.
And speaking, I'm glad you brought that up, because this brings up another subject. So WWE is starting to get, or it's AEW, one of the two are actually getting, it's WWE if I'm not mistaken, they're getting pissed off with the fact that the crowd is chanting, what?
Well, that was Fox and
Fox anyway. But they're getting pissed off because they're referencing, what, because of Stone Cold and stuff. I mean, I'd understand, if this just started happening, but people have been doing this chant
for well over a decade.
Well over a decade. It's not the first time this has happened.
See, this is the thing, though. Like, I'm glad you brought this up so we can get on the subject. With Fox tweeting out, "Dear WWE Universe, can we please quit doing the what chants? It's no longer 2001." that was the dumbest thing they could have ever done, because I understand Fox owns SmackDown. They have the rights to run SmackDown and everything, but they don't own the entire company. And, that tweet was taken down not even, maybe an hour later after it was posted. Because I know they got fussed out by some higher up in WWE, if not Vince McMahon himself, find out who authorized that.
And stuff. I mean, I understand you're a company. You spent billions and billions of dollars and stuff on this, and I understand that. You're just trying to... But still, come on now. You can't sit there and take... I understand you spent the money for the company or whatever, or your part. Let me throw that out there. Your part and your say-so about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is what's been going on in WWE way before it even hit Fox.
And see, there's ways that you can carve the what chance. If you didn't believe that, go look at Monday Night Raw from this past week when Rusev was talking with Jerry Lawler about the Lana and Bobby Lashley stuff. When the fans kept saying what every time Jerry Lawler would say something, Rusev turned to the crowd. He said, "Come on, guys, he's a legend. Give him some respect." And then they stopped. So they're not doing it to try to sabotage the product. They're doing it because that's what Stone Cold would have done if someone would have messed up on a gimmick or like a topic, or if someone was talking about something that really wasn't that interesting. And a lot of people don't find the Bobby Lashley and Lana angle interesting, which is their opinion. That's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. But there's ways to carve the what chance, and the whole reason why the what chant even started on SmackDown the other night was because when Bayley was doing the promo, she messed up. When she said Bayley Buddy, she said Bayley Bellies.
Yeah.
When she was talking to the Miz on the Miz TV, and that was the whole reason why the what chant started. 9 times out of 10, the what chants don't happen unless the superstars mess up for them to open up to having the what chance happen.
And it's not really like in disrespect. It's just like it's like more of a shock.
It's it's honestly in a way it's a tribute to Stone Cold Steve Austin, because everyone knows that he was associated with the what chance. And quite frankly, there's no other place that the what chance should be housed on better than Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, because when he was on SmackDown, that was when the what chance really took off, especially with Kurt Angle and everything. Back in the Attitude Era. But see, that's the thing, though. Like, if Fox wants to say things like this and they want to go after something that's been said well over a decade, it kind of leads you to the speculation of what else are they going to try to control with WWE. Or are they going to write the fans, "Dear WWE Universe, please don't bring the signs in because it messes up the TV"?
I can honestly say this. If Fox spent the money they spent on this company and then sit there and, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, but you can't sit there and like I was saying stuff that you sit there and go out there with a microphone and stuff and start telling people what they can. I mean, they ain't done it yet, but you're basically, in a sense, you're standing out there telling people that pay your salary that you can't, like with the people wearing the AEW t-shirts and everything else and stuff. I understand that. That's I do. In a sense, because I mean that is a different brand than that right there, and that's in a sense, if somebody wears something, I mean, it might have been you never know, they could do something. It was either the only thing they wore, had to wear at the time and stuff. I remember going back to a live event and they made me take off my Stone Cold shirt because they're not in that era that he was in, and they made me take it off, and I didn't have nothing else to wear, so I had to end up buying me another shirt and changing it out, which was ridiculous. I mean, it was, I just grabbed the first thing. I was going to my first live event, and, I was excited. And, I wore that, and they made me take it off at the event. Like, "Oh, you can't wear that." And I'm like, "Really? I paid all this money to get here and stuff, and you're telling me I can't wear this?"
What live event did you go to?
I went to the one in Raleigh.
WWE?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And they told me not to wear it.
That's crazy.
I mean, and people think, "Oh, you're making it up." I wish I was making it up.
Yeah.
Because that was humiliating, standing there. You wait that long, waited almost an hour in line to get into the doors. They get you to the door and everything else and stuff. You've been checked and stuff. They wanted you and everything else. And then you get into the thing, and then a staff member comes up to you like you committed a robbery or something like that, and say, "Hey, you can't be wearing that in here." I'm like, why? Yeah. What is it hurting?
Did it have anything on it? Like,
it just has Stone Cold written on it and stuff, and it was the one I wore. I wore before.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, we know that WWE does like checks on like signs and stuff, which is normal, because especially if it's televised, they want to make sure the signs don't have anything on. I remember the first time I went to a live event, which it wasn't live event, it was actually Monday Night Raw. It was in 2006. It was actually that night when DX dropped the feces on the Spirit Squad and all them. I remember walking in, I had a John Cena sign, and they were checking people's signs. And my dad asked, he was like, well, why are you checking guys' signs? It was like, we have some signs that can't be allowed in here because they say certain things and stuff. And, that was even back when WWE was in the Ruthless Aggression era, which was a little bit more edgier than it is now.
Yeah.
So, that's always happened to an extent, but to have an actual network kind of come on and tell the fans something that they have been doing for well over a decade, to quit doing that altogether, that's when you kind of have to, look back and think, is that even worth even mentioning? To be honest
really
with you, no one's ever had the balls to say anything like that. No network for that instance. Because, look how long USA's been running Monday Night Raw. I've never once seen USA go on social media and tell the WWE fans to quit doing something that they've been doing, for this instance, well over a decade. And not even that, it's just how Monday Night Raw used to be ran way back, like I mentioned in 2006 with the Ruthless Aggression era. They could have easily went up there and said, hey, maybe we need to tone down some things. They probably said it behind doors, and that's the difference between going to social media and putting it where everyone can see versus going to Vince McMahon himself behind closed doors, or to some WWE executive that runs SmackDown behind closed doors and tell them, maybe we can try to stop things.
Tell them personally and don't broadcast it. If you've got a problem, don't sit there and put it on national media where everybody can see it. If you've got a problem, just take it up with the head person and see what they can do about it.
And that's one thing I like about AEW, because they don't have those restrictions. But one thing that really gets on my nerves about AEW is how they constantly keep trying to ride I guess you could say the stamina of WWE and the name behind it, because they keep constantly mentioning WWE in some type of promotion.
It's like I said, you don't even, from my perspective, the most thing that I've never seen matchup cards, pay-per-views. I've never seen nothing advertised except AEW tried to get this person.
Yeah.
AEW tried to get this person. That's the only thing I've ever seen is AEW's always trying to get somebody from WWE.
And see, the freedom that AEW has, that's noteworthy, because, they don't have any scripts or anything where they go out and actually, rehearse, and for promos, they actually go out there and say what they want to say. So that's a big difference between WWE and AEW, because there's not a lot of, I guess you could say, behind-the-scenes type of personnel trying to get the stuff done.
Well, then again, you got to look at how many sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of sponsors
they
that
don't
WWE
have.
has.
They don't have. In a sense, I'm sure they do, but in a sense, they don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to, piss this person off, or this brand off, or people that are sponsoring their company.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do somewhere in the guidelines or something like that and stuff, but they're not as big as WWE. WWE's got many sponsors.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got to keep it at an extent.
But to the whole debate that started with this is the network going on, social media website and actually tweeting something out like that. I don't understand it. It wasn't smart on their part. It wasn't something that should have been said. Like I said, this should have been kept behind closed doors. This should have been discussed. Maybe if the what chant started, mute the crowd a little bit. Don't go to social media and tell the fans to quit doing it or ask them to do it, because WWE fans are rebellious. They're going to do
with
the
all
things.
The editors they have,
they can do something.
They mute everything else. If they can sit there and mute out every time somebody says a cuss word.
Yeah, exactly. And glad you brought that up, because when Friday Night SmackDown first premiered on Fox, when Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon win that ladder match, when they did a big ladder spot, the fans started chanting "Holy shit!" Yeah. And then that was when I knew they did, because I could tell how it switched. They stopped the "Holy shit" chants, and then they edited in "This is awesome" chants.
That's what I'm saying. They can do things like that.
But why go to social media for Fox, the same network that this happened on? Mind you, they go on and they ask the fans to quit doing something when they obviously did the "Holy shit" chants, and they censored them just fine.
I know, and that's what I'm saying and stuff. You complain about your ratings being so low.
Yeah.
And then you turn right around and do something to make it even worse, to drive it out the ballpark.
That just makes people not want to watch SmackDown, because they know that it's being somewhat controlled by Fox, and which we knew that already anyway. But still, I think that was the biggest, kind of like eye opener to what this, I guess you could say this whole network is about now. And that is censoring this product to an extent to where they want to do the things that they want to do versus what the fans actually want to say. And that's not going to slide. It's not going to slide. I don't care how much money you spend on the company or the product. I don't care how much, you have invested. You don't do those things to the fans. You really don't.
People talk a lot about that it hurts, and others just putting WWE aside for a second. But they always say how it hurts to walk out and, like, basketball players, NFL, they walk out there and they see a bunch of empty seats.
Yeah.
And that's what it's. I mean, I can't remember who said it, but I noticed they interviewed a couple of players, and and that really hurts them a lot to see that they're not as packed as they want to be, because that's their dream to accomplish, to play. They're doing what they love.
Right.
And putting on for thousands and thousands of people, and that's their dream. And by playing for a specific team that nobody likes and stuff like that, I mean, you got to take that into consideration too. When they walk out there, I mean, if those superstars go out there, give everything they got. I mean, put their bodies on the line, and still. I mean, like I said, Fox didn't have no right to do what they did. They did in a sense because of the money they spent on the company. But I mean, it's just like I said, it's just childish to say the least and stuff. But when you're sitting there, like I told you, they're sitting there giving everything they got every night and stuff, being away from their families and everything else, because a lot of them don't travel with them. And they're sitting there giving y'all the best entertainment possible and doing what they they love to do, and this is how they get repaid.
Yeah, by being censored from the network, one of the networks that carries them. And that's the thing, though. That's just like I said, it shouldn't have been said, and that's pretty much the end of it, honestly. Another thing going on social media is my God, do we need to deactivate Seth Rollins' Twitter account? I think we need to do that a long time ago. Taking shots at Sasha Banks and, just, God, Jesus, Seth Rollins, please just stop.
Get off of it.
Get off of it. Just stop.
I'm starting to wonder if that tight uniform is for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, see, this is the thing, though, like, obviously we're talking about AEW and WWE again. Going after Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega being a big name in AEW, a huge name in AEW, one of the big faces to AEW. If it's not Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes is, Kenny Omega, and Seth Rollins going after him, saying, when you get done playing with the minor leagues, you can come over to WWE. And then Kenny Omega honestly going on social media and saying about NXT how it's a developmental. This is the thing. Why try to start the feud or the rivalry between these two companies when we obviously know AEW is trying to ride WWE's back for the longest time? Just quit giving them so much fuel to build more stuff going on. I know Seth Rollins is going to get punished for this. I know he is.
At that point, you're sitting there and you start scooping to their level. You basically opened the back door and said, hello, walk on in.
And see, this is the thing. Like, people saying, it's just competition between two companies that's going to bring out the better in both of them. This isn't competition. This is high school just mentality when it comes to the way that both companies are presenting themselves into this light. I think the biggest, the more strategic thing that they did was bring NXT to Wednesday nights, and that was Triple H's part. But all the superstars that's on the main roster taking shots at AEW, there's no reason for this. There's literally no reason whatsoever why this should be happening. And the same thing with AEW. They shouldn't be taking shots at WWE. They should be going out, putting on their independent product, putting on products that's different from each other, and then letting the fans decide which one has the better product. It doesn't take social media. It doesn't take this feud to bring people. A good product is what's going to take people and put them in your seats.
Yep.
It's not about the beef. It's not about how they're trying to keep promoting their product as a better alternative. It's simply the fact that you can make a better product without even referencing the other product that you're trying to stay away from to be a good company. That's all it is. I mean, in the end of the day, that's all it is. AEW, WWE, if they would stay away from each other, if they would quit mentioning each other, I think we would see a lot better product from both ends. because then they would have the freedom to be what they wanted to be without having the pressure of competition. Yeah, competition is inevitable, but then again, if you don't have the competition in the first place and you guys can coexist together, that's going to be better for everybody.
I've said it once, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it to whatever happens. But in my perspective of everything, it's if both I don't like AEW for the simple fact of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I mean it's like they're forcing themselves on people.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because like I said, they're sitting there trying to take the talent from WWE over to them, and then they're trying to sit there and do these hardcore matches and stuff, and they're trying to just take talent like that, take the stuff that they done in the previous, wherever they were or wherever they stood before,
mm-hmm.
and they're trying to compete with it, and they're not. It's like they're taking the scripts from WWE and just putting a little bit of if that even, but putting a little bit of their input in it. But it's like they're recasting. It's like a rerun of matches we've seen before.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing about AEW that I can honestly say is a spot fest. I mean, there's so many spots, and that's why a lot of people argue against AEW, saying that they're appealing to a lower demographic of wrestling fans, because there's a lot of wrestling fans that don't care about storylines, don't care about the slow-paced match types that ended up being a really good match build. They like the spot fest where it's just constant back and forth, 100 miles an hour, 20 moves per second, all that crap. And that's not what wrestling is about. That's what it's never been about, and that's what AEW is appealing to, is that lower demographic of wrestling fans that just want to see action.
If you want to see action or anything, like you want to see that match right there, flip on UFC.
Yeah.
Flip on boxing. Flip on something else besides WWE, because it's entertainment for a reason. I'm not saying it's fake. Don't put words in my mouth. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for all-out action and you're wanting to see high-end fights and stuff, and you want to see blood, gore, and just people go out there and do whatever and stuff, and cuss and do whatever stuff, flip on UFC and flip the channel.
Yeah.
Because you're messing it up for the rest of us at this point by sitting there doing everything in the way because you're looking for something and you're griping about it because it don't go your way, and you're acting like a freaking 4-year-old throwing a tantrum because something don't go your way. But you don't know what else is better to come, because like I said before, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing lately is people are still talking about the Seth Rollins and the Fiend.
Yeah, and we'll get that in a minute, but I wanted to finish up about AEW and being the more spot fest kind of orientated type of promotion. WWE still has that slow build match type, and I think that's why a lot of the fans are starting to go away from WWE, because they're going to AEW because it's more action. But in a sense, if you don't have a good product in the first place, the action's not going to be relevant in the end.
What is the point of a rivalry if there was never a starting point?
Yeah.
Like when you seen, like from previous wrestlers and stuff, there was always like they would jump somebody in the parking lot. You had Kane coming out of the ring or under the ring and stuff, grabbing people. Undertaker doing it too. I mean, you just go back and stuff. If there never was a story to be told, it's like reading the end of a book, expecting to know everything that happened before, but you just know the ending of everything. Well, see, and that don't make much sense.
That's the thing, though. They're sending them out there, and they're doing these high spot matches, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not on the same level as WWE because of how they actually present their product. The referees overreact on everything. I watched AEW the other night. For the first time ever, I watched AEW. And the cringiest shit that I ever seen in my life was how the referees reacted to every single move. I'm not even kidding you. It could have been a drop kick, and the referee acted like it was the biggest spot on the actual match. Like they're bracing themselves with the slams. It's like they're choreographing, which they are choreographed. They're choreographing the matches with their hands, and it just shows that the referees have no idea what they're doing. And a lot of the actual former referees that's been with WWE and World Wrestling Federation, they've actually even spoke on AEW and did shoots on AEW on podcast channels like these. And they said that they need to really train the referees in AEW because they're calling for breaks in street fights. they're doing pinfalls for not even the legal man. If it was a tag team and the legal man's in the ring and they go for a pinfall, they'll count the pin. Even if they're not the legal man, they will count the pin. The referees have no freaking idea what they're doing, and it shows. And that is honestly, you can say what you want to say. The superstars being the backbone. The backbone of the matches are the referees.
Yeah.
The referees are there to officiate, and they're not there to officiate, play and pretend. They actually know the choreography and the spots that these matches are supposed to pull off. They know when to break counts. They know when the superstar is supposed to come into the ring to break up the count. If you don't have a structure for how you're actually choreographing a ring match, you're not going to have a good product, because your matches are going to feel like they're everywhere. And that's honestly what I felt like doing watching AEW. I feel like I was a kid, ADD kid, watching just nonsense. There was no rhyme or reason. The promos were good. Yeah. I will give AEW that. When Cody Rhodes went out there and cut that promo to Chris Jericho, that was really good. But everything else was so confusing.
I mean, these people right here,
and that's why I said they're appealing to a lower demographic of wrestling, because they don't understand the product in the first place.
It's like they've got people that probably graduated out of high school.
Yeah.
If that, I mean, because they, like you were saying, they don't know what they're doing.
They really don't. And see, that's the thing, because
a lot of people don't understand this stuff. A wrestler, a superstar, whatever, they mess up. They can easily, not easily, but they can counter it. They can do something different. Like if they were supposed to do a move, or they were supposed to do this, they can easily, oh well, instead of me doing this and stuff, I'm just going to do this and stuff, and they do like that. They can easily do it. If a ref messes up, it can mess up the whole match. Because let's say a ref goes for the pin, or somebody goes for one of the sneak attack pins or something like that and stuff, and you've got it going,
and he
accidentally hits the mat by. It don't matter if it's lights. It don't matter what it is, as long as you
hit that 3 count. What are they going to say? Oh, well, that count didn't count.
You know
can't
what I mean?
Do that. The thing about it is, there's a reason why referees are switched out between matches. It's because those referees are trained to know what is going to happen in that match.
Yep.
If they see something that does not go right in that match, you obviously know what they're going to do. They're going to throw up that infamous X sign. If a superstar is actually injured and you see a referee throw up an X, they are seriously injured. It's not a shoot. It's not a walk. They are literally injured. And see, that's the thing. I don't think AEW would be able to respond to that nature like WWE can, because they don't have the experience already. Because they could be saying, oh, well, he may just be playing an extra walk, or he may be trying to sell this, but he may be actually injured. And that is why I feel like AEW referees have really got to go through extensive training before they even go out to a match now, because I was scared for the superstars.
Yeah.
Because I saw how careless the referees were and how they were just kind of bouncing everywhere and doing whatever they wanted to do. I was scared that what if a superstar actually gets injured and they think they're selling?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they're not selling. They're literally injured.
They don't stop the match and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean,
and that's the reason why I feel like WWE's got them beat, just simply because of the ring choreography, because they know the matches and they know what's going to happen in those matches.
And you have heard about it before and stuff. People be in matches and stuff a lot with different wrestling companies.
Yeah.
You hear them be fighting somebody and they were fighting a dead man the whole time.
Yeah.
They just thought they were playing it off.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying.
And that's dangerous.
The danger levels that I saw watching AEW with the referees being so careless when they are literally the only ones in there that can actually know what's going on during the match, that scared the shit out of me. And that alone makes me feel like AEW is going to have a lawsuit on their hands soon, because they don't have the training properly for the referees. Yeah. When you have past retired referees shooting on podcasts on how your referees are not doing things right, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing something wrong. Like I said, we can go back to the Superstars being the real show and everything. The referees are there for a reason. They're not there for looks. They are literally there to choreography that match, to know the choreography of that match.
The referees, I don't care what nobody says. Yes, the superstars are the ones that put on the match.
They're performing.
But the referees are the ones that
they know what they're about to do.
They make the match.
They know what they're about to do.
If they mess up, like I said, they mess up on one thing, it can set back the whole. It can set off a real. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
It'll start if they, like I said, with everything going on like it did and stuff. They mess up one time, it's gonna start and it's gonna piss off a lot of people.
And the biggest threat to that, honestly, is the fact that, if something happens wrong in a ring where a referee doesn't do the things that they're supposed to do, if a superstar is legitimately injured and a lawsuit does happen, that's going to bring a bad light on wrestling as a whole, whether you're, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Impact, WWE, or AEW itself. If something happens that creates a lawsuit and you're publicized by the media, a lot of people's going to look at that whole sport as something that network shouldn't be showing the kids and stuff like that because it's too dangerous. Because the thing about it is, the matches are choreographed and they're rehearsed and they know the outcomes and everything, and they take bumps and they sell moves and stuff like that. But if you legitimately get injured, which can happen, I mean, look at Neville. I mean, when Chris Jericho stopped that match and was shouting at the referee to tell him to pin him because he was hurt. That was a real injury, and the referee did not know what was going on. That can just show you, because the referee doesn't know what's going on, how that can end up and bad. You know what I mean?
Go back to Edge. Go
Yeah.
back to Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
He had that heart attack in the ring.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and JBL was fighting him at the time and stuff, and he went on and pinned him and stuff
Yep.
to get it over with, but they rushed him out there.
Yep.
You've got Jada King Lawyer when he had that heart attack on the thing. I mean,
Yeah, on the commentary.
But he was on commentary.
He was on commentary, but still, they knew what to do.
They knew what to do. And that's
what to do.
always a good plus, because if you don't have nobody knows what they're doing and they're thinking it's just a show, it could end up in somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that's not
And
worth
see,
it.
that's the thing, though. Like, I feel like AEW just don't realize how much responsibility they really do have running a promotion.
And don't get us wrong. We're not telling you not to watch AEW or
Right.
nothing like that. But look, if we're not nitpicking at anything. We're just cutting deep into the source, and we're just telling you.
We're going
what we
outside.
got. I mean,
of the cameras.
We're literally looking into our future.
Yeah.
Because if we don't sit here and think about it now, we're going to have one heck of a fight later to worry about. Because like he just said, if one brand messes up and doesn't know what they're doing, and somebody it costs somebody their life, it costs somebody a bad injury where they can't never work or never perform again.
Right.
And it does happen, and it's happened in WWE too.
Oh,
but
hell yeah.
But in a sense, but they knew what to do about it.
Exactly. That's
knew what
that's
to do
the big
about it.
difference. They knew what to do about it when, a superstar may not be responding to the match like he's supposed to be. I mean, you look at Goldberg versus Undertaker.
Yeah.
Those were two ring generals. Now, I want you guys to understand something. See, this is the difference between us as podcasters. We understand the terminology in wrestling. We don't think this shit's real. We know that this stuff's scripted. We know that they take bumps. We know they sell moves. A ring general, I'm going to break down something for you guys. The ring general is a superstar that's been performing for a very long time that can call moves and call spots out as the match goes on. So, in a theory, they know who's going to be the winner, but they don't know how they're going to get there yet.
Yep.
And that's why they call spots and they call moves and things like that. Goldberg and Undertaker went out there, and Goldberg went for, a spear. Undertaker reversed it. Being the ring general he was, it ran into the ring post. He got a legitimate concussion. Undertaker knew that he was really injured. That's why he ended the match so fast. That is the things that ring generals are supposed to do when they see something going wrong. Chris Jericho, he's a ring general. When he was facing Neville that night and Neville legitimately broke his leg, he knew what to do.
Yeah.
And that's why he started going at the referee where he would disqualify him. That was not supposed to happen.
No.
But Chris Jericho, being the ring general that he is, in this promotion, whether he's in AEW or WWE is irrelevant, in this promotion in general, he knows what to do.
And I'm wondering, in a sense, they're taking all these people from WWE, and like you said, the refs don't have no clue what they're doing.
Right.
So that brings up the next question: are they bringing people from WWE because they know
who's been ring generals like
so
Randy
they know
Orton?
what they're doing?
I mean, I cannot argue against that, honestly.
I mean, honestly, when you cut deep into it, are they?
Yeah.
I mean, are they doing it because they don't know what they're doing and they do? So that's why they're trying to get them over there so they don't get a lawsuit on, like you were talking about, or are they just doing it, to, try to overtake WWE? The question comes up, but
my thing is, you can be a promotion and you can put on a show and you can know how to choreograph a match and everything. You can have ring generals in the ring still kind of dictating what's going to happen, what moves to pull and all things like that. But at the end of the day, if the referee doesn't have the experience that they have, even a regional wouldn't save that match. Because think about it this way: if a regional went and say, "Okay, I'm gonna go for a suplex. I want you to roll up. I'm gonna get you to count out. You're gonna kick out." The referee don't know what's going on. He goes for the 1, 2, 3. He hits 3 when the superstar still kicked out because he didn't know what was going on. So you could still be a ring general and know what's going on in the match, but if the referee has no idea what he's doing or what she's doing, there you go. That's the end of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the match not going the way that it was choreographed because the referees don't have the experience needed to actually put on a match and know the choreography and know the spots and know the bumps and know the sells. And that's what it comes down to. You literally have 4 aspects in the World Wrestling Entertainment: AEW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling. You have choreography, you have spots, you have bumps, you have sells. That is the 4 main things that go into a wrestling match. If you can pull off all 4 of those things with no hitches going off, you will have a good match. Because you'll know the choreography of the match, you'll know what bumps to take, you know how to sell the moves, and you will know how to, most importantly, run the ring.
Yep.
And that is what all it comes down to. It's what it all comes down to. But enough of the referees and everything. Let's I'll get into this because I'm pretty pissed off about this myself. WWE 2K20. God. 2K. Well, okay, let me just give you guys a background into what's going on with the game. I don't know if you guys heard or anything. 2K finally released a statement today. I mean, this game came out Tuesday. I got it Monday night. I actually missed Monday Night Raw to go get this this game. It's so broken. It's so broken, and there's no telling when they're going to fix it. So if you guys are listening and you haven't bought 2K20 and you're just thinking that it may just be people pissed off because WWE is the way WWE is now, it's not. The game sucks. Please do not buy it unless they fix it. That is all I got to say about it. Now let's go ahead and move into the last thing we want to talk about, because this is leading into Crownjewel and everything. Last 2 things, actually. Let's first talk about Cain Velasquez and how people saying that he didn't look too good in the ring Monday night, which I honestly don't argue against. No, he didn't look the best. He really didn't. And Shelton Benjamin's been in the business for a long time, so I feel like he could sell some of that stuff, but my God, what was he doing? He was crawling around him. He was trying to go for like an impromptu takedown, kind of like MMA style. It was just really, really sloppy. I don't know what's going to happen with this Brock Lesnar Cain Velasquez match. Honestly, I feel like when Vince saw how Cain was in the ring, he said, we're ending the match in 15 seconds now. Yeah. Just so he doesn't have the opportunity to mess up in front of all those people in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, you got to think about it too. I mean, you got to remember that Cain Velasquez and Brock really had a rivalry. I mean,
I know
they really had a rivalry, so there could be.
But there's a difference between MMA and World Wrestling Entertainment.
Oh, I know.
If you can't go out there and call out these spots and sell these moves and just
you never
know what the hell you're doing.
You never know. He could do this right here, and then but when him and Brock get in the ring, they've been in the ring with each other for real. I mean, they've actually been in an actual match. It could turn into an all-out street fight off the script. I mean, they could either tear each other's heads off and stuff. Because I mean, like I said, they've always had problems with each other in the octagon.
I still see Lesnar winning in 15 seconds.
I
still see it. I swear, I see the bell ringing. I see Lesnar running towards him, suplexing him a couple times, F5 at him. The match is over. That's the way I see it happening.
That or he tried to take him down and he brings him into the arm bar.
That's the way I see it happening.
Kimura. I mean, he hasn't used it in a while, but I do not put it past Brock. You can't. Brock does what he wants.
And then, Seth Rollins and The Fiend still getting heat. And this is something that I explained last time we were on the show about, the dark matches. Seth Rollins wins these matches all the time. There you go. There was another example. The steel cage match after Monday Night Raw this past Monday night. It was not televised. What did you expect? Did you think The Fiend was going to win and they were just going to say, The Fiend picked up the Universal title?
And then he just ends up with the title the next
for a non-televised match. Then people get pissed off because they didn't get to see it.
I know it's stuff. Well, how did he get the title? What
exactly.
happened?
They don't understand what a dark match is. And I'm explaining to you again, a dark match is a match that takes place after the show goes off, or either it's a non-televised event like a WWE live event. The only time that I know of in recent memory when a title switched hands was Finn Balor and Seth Rollins in an NXT house show, and that was because Finn Balor actually got injured.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've actually seen a main title switch hands.
At an extent, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can't go out there and perform if you can't give the 100%. And I mean you go back to Jeff Hardy when he had surgery and everything because he was hurt bad, so him and Matt had to relinquish the titles because Jeff couldn't perform.
Right.
So what else are you gonna do? Like I said, I mean, you're gonna get mad if you don't. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, see, my thing is, I think this just gives more momentum in this Fiend versus Seth Rollins match because if the Fiend does end up picking up this win, which I don't know how the hell he's gonna do that anyway because he's on Friday Night SmackDown. I think Rollins is still gonna win. I mean, I know it's gonna happen. I do like the new stipulation where they can't stop the match no matter what. I think that's really, really interesting because I'm wondering what kind of spots they're going to pull off. Because, see, they're going to be in Saudi Arabia, and I know those are certain things in Saudi Arabia will not allow. So I don't know how far this match is actually going to go. I really don't. I know that they're going to somewhat tell them what not to do and what to do. But then again, with Saudi Arabia celebrating WWE in that parade they did this past week, I don't know. They might just be letting them go out and do whatever they want to do at this point. I'm really excited to see the match, though.
I am, too.
You know,
I mean,
because even if Rollins does win, at least we got a rematch that was, kind of correcting the wrong of what happened in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
With that ending, because now they're saying the match can't be stopped no matter what. I'm hoping it ends in no contest. You know what I mean? Because if both superstars can't, respond, then I feel like they would end the match because of that. I don't know.
What are you gonna do at that point? The ref gonna pick both of them up and just sit there and start taking their arms and just slapping at each other? I mean,
yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to stop the match in no contest either way. I mean, no matter what it says, the match doesn't stop no matter what. It's still no contest. I feel like the commentators are gonna really oversell that though. I feel like they're gonna keep saying, now remember everyone, this match cannot be stopped for no reason necessary. They're gonna do a spot. They're gonna say, well, the match can't be stopped for no reason necessary. So I do feel like they are gonna oversell that. How the match can't be stopped in any way. I don't know. I'm really leaning towards the Fiend possibly winning, just as a surprise, but I don't see it making any sense because obviously we're not gonna have both championships on Friday Night SmackDown.
No.
It's just kind of this point where you're like, well, you don't know how the match is going to go. You don't know how far they're going to take it. We know that, like I said, the commentators are going to oversell the fact that it can't be stopped for no reason necessary. But if they're
incapacitated, there's no.
If they're both, non-responsive, then you got to end the match either way. Which I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Or just sit there and watch them later like they're dead. I mean,
yeah.
That's barbaric at that point.
Which tonight, Bray Wyatt's got another Firefly Funhouse episode on Friday Night SmackDown. So we'll see what happens on the storyline leading up to it. Because the Crown Jewel is this week. It's this coming week. It's October 31st, which is Halloween. So, they got a little... They're running out of days to build these matches up. I think we might see something else with Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury tonight. Which I don't know if you've seen Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury was kind of
he
practicing.
Was training and
Braun Strowman kind of went out of nowhere and took him out. It's kind of cool. I like that. I'm really excited about that match myself, to be honest with you.
I am too.
I'm excited about the Team Hogan versus Team Flair.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, of course, now being the team captain of Team Hogan. Because Seth Rollins was taken out of the match to face the Fiend at set Crownjewel. So now we got the match set between Team Hogan and Team Flair. All the competitors have been revealed. So, it's going to be a pretty good event. I think it's going to be really kind of a surprising event. A lot of people are going to get real surprised on how good this event actually is.
Yeah, I see that happening too.
Because it's being booked great. I like the booking on it. The booking's everything, like we always say, and it's being booked pretty decent on Crown Jewel. We'll just see the outcomes on each matches.
That's all we can do at this point.
I'm really hoping to see Rusev finally beat the living hell out of Bobby Lashley in that match. I feel like that's going to bring a little bit more personality to that match versus just being like Team Hogan versus Team Flair. We're going to have Rusev going against Bobby Lashley in that match at some point. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that. I kind of predict them not being able to compete anymore. I feel like they're going to do a spot where they like both can't respond and they take them out of the matches, and it's going to be like a Team Hogan versus Team Flair -1 on each side. I think that would be really cool.
I mean,
because then that would lead up to a bigger match going in the Survival Series. Because we know they're building a match for Survival Series.
paid or not paid, you're messing with somebody's wife.
Yeah.
And it don't matter if you're paid or not.
I mean, I like the angles going on.
Yeah.
Like, I like the restaurant spot from this week, on
Yep.
Monday Night Raw. I liked everything. It was really good. Monday Night Raw was pretty good this week, actually.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury, not Tyson Fury, but Cain Velasquez, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Of all people, with Shelton Benjamin, especially. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with Cain Velasquez. I don't think he's going to be as polished as everybody thinks he's going to be in the ring.
He's going to probably be the CM Punk, like how Dana White said that he was the worst investment.
Yeah, I think WWE is going to say Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez is going to be the CM Punk of UFC.
I see Tyson Fury doing really good, though. I mean, when I was watching that video when he was like, quote unquote training, of course that was scripted and everything. He was still taking some pretty damn good bumps.
Yeah,
he really was. He was selling the moves. He was taking bumps. So I think he would be really good in the ring. I don't know. We'll see what Cain Velasquez does, though. I don't know. I feel like he's just going to be slow, sloppy, and Vince is going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, how could you blame him?
Which, I mean, who was that? Whose call was that to bring Cain Velasquez in? I feel like it was one of the only calls Eric Bischoff did before he left.
That might be the reason they fired him. It's because of, oh my God, you brought this to the table and left us with nothing. I mean,
SmackDown, of course, not being on Fox tonight, it's being on FS1.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that too, because I was going to mention this when we did the weigh-in again, but we never got to do it last week. We got caught up on everything. FS1, I feel like they're going to be the main carriers of SmackDown now.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing this tonight as like a test run to see what it's like to run, WWE on that type of channel. And I think they're going to see if they can get enough people watching FS1 to run that show from now on. Maybe they'll be able to get away with a lot more stuff, and I think that's what they're trying to lean towards, is like more of a, not of a main network-based show like Fox. FS1, a lot, very few people have that channel.
Yeah.
Actually, ain't that a satellite channel? That's what I'm saying. A cable channel, something like that.
I believe so.
Yeah, so they'll be able to do more.
I don't think you get on regular cable.
I think they'll be able to do more things than Fox can with the actual product. We'll see what happens, though.
That's all we can do at this point.
Well, that's about it for a very long episode of the weigh-in. We talked about everything leading from last week into this week, and for the future and everything. We'll see what happens with Crownjewel, all the promotions for that event coming up tonight. Of course, on Friday Night SmackDown FS1, and Monday Night Raw is the last night they can really promote anything storyline-wise. So we'll see what they do with their 2 nights. Hope they use them wisely. My name is Johnny.
My name's Will.
We are HXC Wrestling Talk Show. We're FS1. We're owned by Fox. They told us to quit saying what to. This is HXC Wrestling Talk Show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to hit the little notification bell every time we upload a video. We'll see you guys later.